Subscribe to LearnCap and hit the bell icon to get notified.
Hello everyone, good morning. I am CA Meghna Suresh from LearnCap and I'll be the host for this webinar. Let's all welcome CA Venkatakrishnan Hariharan sir. Sir is an EPGP MBA graduate from IIM. Being a lifelong learner, sir has done many certificate courses in reputed institutes like IIT, NISM, IIBF, etc. He has worked in the industrial sector for more than 20 years in different roles in retail and corporate banking. As a teacher, Sir has an overall experience of 5 years and have trained more than 5,000 students across India. Presently an assistant professor for finance and strategy in CAMS in Trivandrum. Today, Venkatakrishnan Sir will be guiding us on the structure of the paper, some tips and techniques, and how to plan for exemption in financial management paper and related areas. Now, I would like to hand it over to Venkatakrishnan Sir to discuss on the best strategy for financial management paper. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Meghna. Hope am I audible to everyone. So not wasting much time, we will directly move into the topic. Hope all the students who are here, are they all are graduates or undergraduates, or they have come from, can you please type in the chat box, have you come from the foundation background or from a graduate direct entry background? Can you please, that will be helpful for me to go through this webinar more specific, addressing all of you. You are a graduate means just type BCom or BSc, whatever it is, whichever graduation, or if you are from foundation, directly type I am from foundation. Hope am I audible to all? Can you please type? Yeah, very good. From foundation, BCom, yeah, fine. That's great. So we have a mixed crowd here. It's fine, from foundation and as well as the graduates are there. So graduates, the topic will be, actually you have learned almost 30% in your graduation course, if at all you are from BCom. And if you are an undergraduate, that is you are pursuing that graduation after foundation, it's literally what you call an extension of your financial accounting subject, an extension of your financial accounting subject. It will be so interesting. The subject itself is purely conceptual based. Everything is conceptual based because there are some senior thinkers who have developed these kind of what you call concepts to make sure that I understand finance better. I understand finance better. And now after understanding the finance, how I would like to manage it. So basically we'll go to the management basics. Like in your 11th or 12th commerce stream, people would have learned management is nothing but getting things done through others. But two aspects are there, which are efficiency and effectiveness. So efficiency means to use the means of it, concerned with the resources. And effectiveness means doing the right things. The same here. So we have to do the right things with the finance. That itself ends the financial management chapter. So that is what you are required to do in this paper. So if you are effective, that is doing the right things, you are there with not only 60%, you can score very well 70 to 80% marks, very well. I am telling you about 70 to 80% marks. So above 45 or 50 is very much possible if you do the right things. Do the right things. I will give you the nutshell of how each chapter goes. And after every 2 chapters, I would like to hear from you that what you want to know more about this. And so that we will be able to provide you better insights on how to study this each part. Because, sir, can you tell me a simple way to score 50 marks? This paper part has got A and B part. It's very easy. Don't go to anybody. Look at your textbook, read thrice. You can be, if you are a good student, you can be sure that 50 marks is there. But if you want knowledge as well as more marks, then you have to approach a teacher. Is it not? That simple as it is. There is no other hook and crook formula is there. You need a teacher and knowledge, because with our experience, we will share what we have learned, the practicality application side, as well as the theoretical part. See, in your institute study material, if you go to BOS portal, first of all, you have to go through the portal at least weekly once. If you are not going through weekly once, you will not be able to get any updates because institute will be adding some addendums. Is it not? Some changes in the study material. Suppose some error has been found out, they will be rectifying it. People would have notified it to the institute, they will be rectifying it. People doesn't go through. They got the textbook, they have registered, just that's all. Don't do that. Do go through the institute website and BOS portal at least weekly, because you would have received the printed material. After that, they would have added something because of the change in the syllabus or some updation. So you have to be with the institute website always. Not only for this subject, for all the subjects. You know about tax, law, they will be adding up. You all know that. Coming back to this topic. This paper 8 comprises of two. One is financial management and another one is eco for finance. Now, this paper A part has got 60 marks and B part has got 40 marks. Now I am dividing the marks. So one is 60, one is 40. Sir, how to score in this 60? That is what we are discussing today. And how to score in the 40, we will discuss on a later date, because one is completely with the macroeconomics part and which has got more economics in it. And here more financial aspects are there. So we will take it through that part in a different session. This session comprises mainly on financial management. This 8A part has got 10 chapters. Each chapter has its own weightage. In your portal, if you see, after your foundation, intermediate, final, there are two other links I have given. That is sector-wise, what do you call the weightage, and skill set needed for it. If you go through and download it, you can understand how much percentage or weightage is given to each chapter. Some of you might have already gone through, some of you yet to open the BOS portal itself. So first of all, the student has to be aware of what I am doing, where I am, then only I can hit the goal. Is it not? So if I doesn't know where I am, it's very difficult. Hope, am I clear to you all? Can you please, am I clear to you all? My communication is reaching you properly. Thanks a lot. Yeah. Now let us see. I will share with you a PPT. We will go chapter wise, and then we will try to understand what knowledge level is required. In that 2 PDF file which Institute has uploaded, what is the knowledge level, skill set required? There is a comprehensive knowledge is required. There is an application and analytical knowledge is required. So questions will be based on that. If I know the trick, how the institute will be asking the question, then it is easy. My mark is there. Now, you have an advantage of stepwise marking also. So if you are at least out of the 4 steps, you have to find out 3 steps you are there, out of 8 marks, 6 marks is for sure. Is it not? So I should know that trick also. But I can't generally tell you, because chapter wise, chapter to chapter, the trick is different. Chapter to chapter, the trick is different. So we need to go through this. This subject comprises of overall 110 formulas. And just last week, our institute has updated the study material with some more changes, some more graphical representations, and some more theoretical aspects, and some more problems are also added. If you go through it, you can find out, download from the website, that you will understand. For every subject, you should know this. What have been added, what not. And for every subject, you should prepare your own notes. The success story ends there. That's all. How many printed materials are available? It's there. But if you prepare your own notes, I will tell you, student, it is the success. Because I have done, with my experience, I have heard it from a lot of students, it is their own notes. The formulae, you have to prepare the flashcards. There is no other choice. You prepare your own flashcards, you learn that, you will be there. So around 100 formulas, 10 formulas are there. And around, you can see around 30 to 40 formats. You need to draw up some formats in a particular way so that your answer is arrived. You have to remember those. So how to remember these things, sir? You are learning the same thing in law paper, where a lot of sections are there. audit paper, your direct tax, indirect tax paper, all the paper you remember sections, by sections, everything. Same way for cost also you will learn so many formulas. Here also it is a bunch of formulae. How to remember easily? First of all, first easy thing to remember is like what you learned in your school days. You prepare a flashcard, read at least weekly, twice or thrice, those things. That's enough from the beginning. So you will be undergoing through coaching for, say, suppose you are writing a group, you may be for 4.5 months to 5 months. If you are going for 9 months coaching, you will be having all the subjects in that. So prepare a flashcard, go through it from day one, at least, or as and when the portion improves, moves on, you please go through all the formulas by your own. This is the first simple technique I would like to tell you. That itself will be clear for you. Because why? The reason is that, suppose, can anybody tell me in this group what they have eaten for last Sunday breakfast? Last Sunday breakfast, exact menu. Can you tell me? What is the menu you have eaten? Touching your heart, you tell me what is the menu you have eaten. Sir, I ate idli, dosa, rava, whatever it is. Or directly I had a brunch, sir, because I woke up at around 11 a.m. only. So direct brunch. Definitely a lot of people could not remember this. Yesterday night, you remember. Maybe day before yesterday, morning, afternoon and dinner, you will be remembering. But not a week's time. Not a week's time or not even a month. But on a special occasion, we will remember. If it is our birthday, if it is our any special college day or a friends meet gather day, something like that, we will remember that day. We will remember event by event. She has done like that. He has done like that. We had cracked a joke. Is it not? That is what. You also remember what you have learned in your childhood, rhymes. Rhymes, you know. ABCD, you know. You know, some formulas, basic formulas in class 1 and class 2, whatever, no, you remember that. But 7th or 8th, no, sir, I have learned so many things, physics, chemistry, biology, political science, economics, I'm not remembering. But at the very young, you doesn't understand anything. You doesn't have a thinking knowledge at all. There is no, what you call, inquisitiveness, know what it is there. You simply just to go on reading. Whatever teacher tells, A for apple, B for boy, you still remember. The same way for inter students, the only formula for success is repeatedly going through the topics. This is the first step in neuro-linguistic programming. Our mind is tuned like that. Our mind is tuned like that. I will tell you, if you practice this for 3 months, I will tell you, I'm damn sure nobody in this group will fail. If you fail now, I will repay your fees. I will repay your fees. Because this has been successful for so. But problem is, students will never practice daily and they have different mindset. You can remember your childhood days, letters, figures, everything, but could not remember your 10th standard where you have got knowledge. Because you have deviated from lot of subjects. If I ask you SAS theorem, triple S theorem, what is sine theta and cos theta? Definitely allergies are, mathematics allergies are. Is it not? This is the way we started learning those subjects. So don't learn like that. Learn as it is. Something which is coming new to me. You will be accepting it. You will be accepting it. Hope am I clear to you all? Am I boring you by giving some advices and all? Is it okay with you all, my dear students? Are you getting my point? Because before I enter into that subject, no, you should be comfortable with that. Because if you're not comfortable, no, every time when I see a book, this much is there, this much is there. You should be very clear and comfortable. First thing to be, you should love the subject. You should have a passion to learn the subject. I will tell you the financial management. You have in final, there is a strategic financial management. So what is the strategy? Strategy is nothing but moving towards the enemy and attack the enemy. That is what? A technique, a course of action. So if you want to learn strategic financial management in final, you should know the base of what is financial management. Otherwise, how will you go? So you have to create that base. That base building should be really strong. That's what every subject tells. Because you are not simply an accountant who is signing the audited balance sheets. You are a consultant. You are an advisor. You are a guide to a lot of your clients. Because clients will be coming you asking you, sir, what I should do. Clients know the techniques and tricks of how to get the business done. But you doesn't know. But you know what is legally to be done. Legality of all these things you know. And whether the X business or Y business will be fruitful or not, I should know. Because everything, money is involved, finance is involved. So that is why this subject is very crucial. And you can link this subject, any subject, with all other subjects. I will tell you the next important tip is try to find a relationship between topics. That's most important. A relationship between, suppose, sir, how can I link direct tax in financial management? How can I link costing in financial management? How can I link law in financial management? How can I link indirect tax in financial management? How can I link financial accounting in financial management? That technique you should practice, think of. Change your attitude, change your way of learning. I will tell you, students, nobody will fail. Who and all are attending this session, I will tell you, I will make sure that you are there. That's why I initially told I will repay your entire fees if you follow what I am telling right now, clearly. Because I have been successful and a lot of my other students as well as my friends are really successful. These are all some tips. It's up to you. It's up to you because there are umpteenth number of techniques available in this whole world. It's up to you which suits you, you should select. I can utter so many things, but you think of yourself. But one thing is sure, everybody has to study, everybody has to do the hard work and move on. So with this intro, I'll go on to chapter-wise chapter, and then we will try to understand some more nitty-gritties of all the topics. First, we will learn what is finance and management to ensure that financial management subject knowledge is gained in a systematic manner. So whatever you are learning, there should be a system. So, when you get up in the morning, you actually wash yourself and brush yourself and you had morning tea or coffee, whatever it is. There is a system which actually goes in our mind. So it's a routine. For most of the people, it's a routine. So that has to come in your blood while studying as a professional, because you are not a small guy. You are a professional. People will be approaching you. You are responsible for that. So you need to be systematic. You need to be systematic, first of all. Second thing, have to go through each chapter by chapter, what it is, how it is. Now, let us first see what is introduction. So, introduction to financial management comprises of scope and objectives. So, the financial management topic basically rushes through two things. Can anybody tell me what are the two major things which a business firm looks into? Can you type in your chat box? Say, I am doing a business. What you looks into that business? Can you please type? Let us be somewhat interactive. You look into the business. Sir, I am doing a business. What you look into? In what angle you do business? For what the purpose of doing business? Profit and customer satisfaction, very great. Profit making, very great. I am seeing a lot of profit statements are made. Great. Some more, please. Because then only we can immerse into the topic. Otherwise, it will be really boring. Because when you, after learning all these things, when you come into the practical life, a lot of things we will apply for a particular situation only. So unless otherwise you are not interactive, it is very difficult. People have told it is profit. So I would like to say profit is one. For getting the profit, what you would like to take? So if you want to get a cup of tea, when you go to a hotel, you pay money. You pay money, is it not? So for doing that business and for getting that profit, what you take? What you take, students? Risk element. Risk element. You will be taking that risk. So we generally say the pillars of finance is risk and return. Risk and return. That is what? In the introduction chapter, they are only going through that element. If you understand that from the beginning chapter to the end chapter, They will be discussing about the risk and return aspects. That's all the entire financial management is. But different techniques are used. Because day-to-day life, we go through different types of financial structures, different types of business structures. Is it not? Different types of businesses, newer of businesses are emerging. Say during COVID times, we have seen so many newer businesses have emerged, extremely new. Have you ever believed that Zomato and Swiggy is selling vegetables to your homes? They were selling the packets, but they were sending vegetables to your home. So newer business are there. Newer business are emerging. So your mind should think that why this kind of innovation is happening. That is why. Otherwise, no, they can't meet their objectives. Their objective is to minimize the risk and increase the financial management subject itself is for that purpose only. If you study in this angle, you will never fail. That's what. So the scope and objectives are given. Profit maximization and wealth maximization are discussed. Role of a CFO. Suppose if you are appointed as a CFO, what you will think? How do you manage your finance? Chief Financial Officer, is it not? And the relationship between this subject and other topics. That's what means. That is what in every institute material you see, they will go by that. How do you connect with each other? So connectiveness, the togetherness will give you huge scores. We all know in life, no, team works. There is a common statement, no, teamwork. Same thing here, students. You should understand that angle. That's all. That's all simple. You can be successful. So this paper actually gives you around, say, 2 to 3 marks questions. You can expect questions to 2 to 3 marks. Some theoretical aspects question. There are 1 or 2 formulas are given to find out the value of the firm. All these things are given. So you can expect around out of 60 marks, 2 to 3 marks from this section. Now, chapter 2, types of finance, different sources of finance. There are umpteenth number of sources they have mentioned. We all commonly know the equity, preference shares, debentures, bonds, is it not? And there are international finance sections are there. Like in your textbook, there are a lot of bonds are given. Vanilla bond, masala bond, a lot of details are given. Venture capital, leasing, operating leasing, finance leasing, other leases, lot of details are given. Then debt securitization, asset securitization, lot of things are given. This is purely a theory paper to understand where I get the money. Say, suppose for an individual, he is getting a money from his own source or from his uncle. We say in finance, it is called bootstrapping. We call it as bootstrapping. The companies also will do the same with the other instruments. A lot of instruments are there where you get money, the source. Because without money, you can't start a business. Why you are getting the money? To invest in your fixed assets. You want to have plant and machinery, land and building, furniture, so many other things. From that only you can generate revenue. So those things, the sources are discussed like all these things. Loans from FIs, retained earnings, your own funds. So this chapter also have, you can say around, say 2 to 3 marks. You can get questions from this. Because theory, it can't be from only from this paper. It can be from other sections also. So this is how, there is no formula here, only the basic things. You should know all these instruments. I should know why. Equity, owners of the business. Preference, they are not owners, but they are preferred ones. So debenture and bonds are debt instruments. You should, first of all, you should know. Then only when you come to the next chapters, you will be comfortable in understanding those things. So debt instrument, after paying the debt only, the company can pay to preference shares. After paying to preference shares only, the company can pay to equity shares. The order of preference, you should know. And there are, so how can I link? You can link the same with your company law, is it not? If there is any malpractices happened in payment of debt or something like that, or even you have not at all paid, not only malpractice, but not at all paid, or anything, something happened, then you can't pay to preference shares. You learn in law, the rules, accounting also, there are rules are there. So who can pay, who can issue bonus shares, is it not? So a lot of things you will learn from this, you can connect it. And what is the tax rate? So I am going into corporate tax. So everything you can connect. So, okay, when dividend is distributed, whether dividend distribution tax is there, which is applicable now in India or in any other country, what is the scenario? So at least now for ourselves, we should know about India. So these are all the things where you will combine and learn. Hope am I clear to you how you are combining these topics? You are able to understand, you are able to follow. Yeah, how you should learn. Now, we will go to the next chapter, which is ratio analysis. This is what most formulas. So I can say around here, around 40 to 45 formulas are there here. So here the main headache for all the students are how to remember all these formulae. One easy step is doing the same question thrice. You will pass. Same question you do thrice with a gap of 15 days each. If you are able to do the third time, you are there with this. Simple as it is. Say liquidity ratio. Say I am learning about liquidity ratio. There are around 5 formulas are there. In that 5 formulas, say there is some numerator and denominator. Is it not? There is some numerator and denominator. So one thing is common is that if for every formula, current liability will be some above, below that current liability. Is it not? So I can remember it. So current assets divided by current liability. Current assets minus inventories minus prepaid expenses, Chook ratio, cash ratio, current assets plus marketable securities. So these are all things you should remember. Divided by current liability. Like this, for all the formulas, in the name itself, you can derive the formula. So try to remember the name very clearly. Try to remember the names very clearly. From that, you can derive the formula. From that. So that is what more important. So total assets to debt ratio, total assets to equity ratio, insolvency or long-term solvency ratios. So learn. There are so many ratios out there, is it not? There is a ratio called Q ratio. Whether gone through this study material or there is called Q ratio in your textbook. Go through it. Then you will know. Whenever we are learning, we will go through what is the importance of this ratio. So certain ratios we may give importance, we may not give importance, but there is no shortcut here, students. You have to go through all the ratios. Institute can ask, because I have given you the introductions of all the chapters which I am covering. I am giving you the study material. Still you are not able to make it. It's not the institute mistake. That's all. I will tell you in commerce, they cannot confuse you with so many logical, so many things. Only the application part is more. If you can read English very well, it's clear. So generally I say to my students, brought up to, brought down, up to, brought by, like this. These terms, if you bifurcate, it is easy. If you understand, apply that, finish off. Because simple formats. There are so many formats are also there. If you see, suppose if you see in profitability ratios, suppose if you see in expense ratio, in profitability ratio, there are so many bifurcations are there, like with the market, the performance and expense ratio. If you see in expense ratio, most of the numerator, denominator will be sales. By that, you can remember the 4 formulas: cost of goods sold to sales, operating ratio, everything. If you remember, so these are all the simple techniques when you go. So how can I tell you for a technique for one paper simply like that? When you go through all the paper, then only we can tell each trick for each item. If you remember that, it is there in the exam. It's very easy. So this is how you will learn the 3rd chapter, which will give you marks to 6 to 8 marks. Normally it comes around 6 to 8 marks. This is what institute pattern over a period of time. Hope am I clear to you all? Good, very good, thank you. Now, cost of capital, cost of retained earnings and WACC. These are all. So here you will be comprises of around 12 formulas. In this November attempt, I will tell you, in this November attempt, say one student missed out. Commonly, he told and called me that, sir, I missed out this question, sir. I couldn't recollect that. I told you have already learned this. The question was to find out the cost of capital under approximation method. Approximation method is nothing but your cost of redeemable debt formula. The question they have asked is to find out the cost of debt under approximation method. You have not taught, sir. It is there in your study material. Whenever we are trying to explain things, we will be giving you all the terms, this or that. But you will remember only the main thing. So what happens? You will forget. Now you will not be able to do. And they have asked one more thing, convertible debenture. One small formula, only one illustration is given in your textbook. That question, same way, but they have changed the figures. If you know the steps, no, your answer is there. 5 marks. I'll tell you students, 5 marks, full 5 marks. Hardly it takes, I will tell you, hardly it takes 5 minutes time to complete this. So one question, 5 marks question, 5 minutes. Institute itself will give you 1.8 minutes for 1 marks because 3 hours now. So you have got that much time. So it is very easy for you to do this. That is what, if you remember those things clearly. So each chapter wise, you should know how many formulas are there, how it is affecting my studies, how I can link the same formula to that. And there is one more formula in your debt. Suppose you have people try to ignore this formula. I will tell you commonly. Say suppose you have issued the debt in discount. What is issuing of debt in discount? Debenture, 100 rupees debenture issued at 95 rupees. And you have repaid it at a premium. That means, say, rupees 105. Then, if the difference amount in the discount as well as premium is having a tax exemption, there is a change in your formula. Generally, you take the formula right as I into 1 minus T. And plus, you will write RV minus SV, whatever it is by N, the whole divided by RV plus SV. Why you are taking RV plus SV divided by 2? Because it is averaging out, because it is spread through years. Don't mug up like that. RV, sir told RV plus SV divided by 2, kar do bas theek hai. No, don't mug up. Because you are averaging it out, it is spread through years because it is a redeemable one. Here, in this formula, this 1 minus T element, I will take it outside. Why? Because that payment also has having tax exemption. So, while reading the question, you should know whether the question is framed like that. So, reading the question twice or thrice, another simple technique is you will get the correct answer. While studying itself, if you practice this technique, I will tell you, you don't have much time. You will have umpteenth number of time. I will tell you, within 2.5 hours, you will complete the paper and you will sit and revise everything. I will guarantee that going through the sessions, each topic, I will guarantee that you will complete this paper in 2.5 hours. That's a guarantee from my side. But if you go through these instructions clearly. Okay, this actually comes under financing decision. There are 3 decisions, you all know. Whenever we learn, we will go into that depth. In this financing decision, the entire portion, that is cost of capital, leverage, as well as your capital structure will be having marks from 20 to 24 marks. So all the next 2, including all the next 2 lessons which are coming up, the total is around 20 to 24 marks they will generally ask. Now, the next portion is capital structure decisions. So you have got NI approach. Then you should know, they will be asking, find out optimal capital structure using the relevance model. So there are terms given in your textbook, the relevance and irrelevance model. So which one is relevant, which one is irrelevant? That you should know. So irrelevant, NOA approach and M&M approach without tax. You should remember clearly, with the tax or without tax. So understanding, that is why doing the right things initially I told. I should know. And relevance model are other 3. What are they? Which is NI approach, traditional approach, as well as your M&M approach with the tax. Like this, You should first bifurcate and then study one by one all the formulas. You know how to calculate the value of equity, how market value of equity, market value of debt. Why Modigliani Miller told that you should take debt into tax rate. Why he's telling like that? What is the knowledge about arbitration? He's talking about arbitration. So what do you mean by arbitration? First understand the meaning of arbitration. Then go through these things. It will be easy for you. People doesn't understand. So arbitration, something new English, sir. I don't want all these things. Don't do that. You are a professional. You are a professional. You should know all. There is no other shortcut, students. If you are willing to do it, I think you will be successful. Number one. Yeah. Next, ABTPS analysis. Another key area, ABTPS analysis and indifference point. If you know the meaning of indifference, different means A and B are different. They doesn't look like same. Okay, what are the differences I can find out? Height, color, weight, gender, income, or anything I can classify. Here, indifference. That means at some point of time, they are same. They are same. They are not different. So that is what I am doing. So what is the EPS? What a bit the EPS is same? I am trying to find out. If you understand this basic language, it's easy. If you understand the basic English language, most of your problems are over, students. I will tell you. For any subject, I will tell you. Any subject. Remaining all only the English languages here and there, they are putting it. That itself is there. When you do practical also, you will know this. No, sir, where I will apply this practically? Capital structure decisions. Suppose you are advising, you are a financial manager for a medium level company. So definitely the owner of the company will ask you, boss, how to get the finance for all these things. Then you will think, oh, if I go more of debt, my cost will be cheaper. But what happens is that there is a problem of what? Insolvency. If I couldn't pay that, then there is a problem. What will do? And if I go to equity more, then I have to think about agency problems, agency cost and all. There is a concept called agency cost. You know, you should learn that. Whenever we are teaching, we will be teach you that, those things. So think on those lines. It will be easy for after leverage. So here, what is business risk? What is financial risk? And what is total risk? Here you will be learning. Here also there are around 6 to 7 formulas are there. So chapter by chapter, I am mentioning the formulas. If you can write these things for all your subjects, I think students, your 5% of the mark is over. There itself, 5% of the marks. If you know exactly what is there in that, you will score. Out of 100, 5 marks I have secured for you now. 5 marks I have secured for you. That's very clear. And if you understand some basic English of reading those things and getting converted to your own language, whether it is Hindi or Kannada or Telugu or Malayalam or Tamil, whatever it is, Gujarati or whatever it is, you will be understanding, at least you will score another 5% marks. And if you link both, then only you will score higher marks. That is the simple advice for all the students. It is simple. The key and important chapter is your investment decision. Sir, I have sourced a lot of money. Now, whether I will invest in this, there are a lot of decision making are there. What they say, whether the projects are mutually exclusive, or I should accept or reject, or I should go for modernization or expansion, lot of things, or contingent decisions I will make. What are, so whether I should build some buildings or not, something like that. So many decision making, investment decision with the money, so many techniques. Here also you have got around 7 to 8 formulas. And you have got around 10 to 15 formats, because each question you will write your answer in a different format. Step is same only, but you will understand. Now in accounting, you will come back to your cash basis of accounting and accrual basis of accounting. Here you follow only the cash basis of accounting. Depreciation, we will deduct it for tax purpose and add it back for our cash inflow. So that accounting part also will come. You should remember that. That's how you should learn. So what is accrual accounting system? What is cash basis accounting system? You should remember that. You should connect that. In that way you learn, it is very easy. Now, how to learn NPV and PI? NPV and PI are same only. One is minus, another one is division. Result is same. Result is same. So you don't have to mug up the formula. If you remember one formula, the another one will automatically will come. That's how you should learn. That's how you should learn. And which are all time value concern, which are all non-time value concern. That is discounted and non-discounted technique. Bifurcate that. It will be easy for you. And learn one by one technique. Sir, how to find out the cash flows? Yes, there is a 10 to 20 items which will take it as one as cash inflow, one as cash outflow. If I bifurcate all these things, I'm there. For your intermediate level, maximum around 20 items are there, maximum. Both inflows and outflows considered. If you know that they will ask questions with this permutation and combination, nothing else. More than that, they will never ask. I have not seen in any of the question paper. For the last 5 years, at least I can tell you. This is how. But people doesn't want to go through that 20 items. What are they? If you know this, you'll know. Whenever we learn this subject, I will tell you what all these 20 items are. Okay. So am I clear? Up to this, am I clear to you all? Yes, thank you. Risk in capital budgeting. Extension of that chapter 7. Extension of that chapter 7. That's all. Very simple. Here, now I haven't told you the marks. Okay, I'll tell you here. So here you can expect marks from, say, like 15 to 20 marks maximum. Maximum 15 to 20 marks. Maximum 20. Because if sometimes they may ask capital budgeting and risk in capital budgeting together. So one may be 8 marks, another one may be 5 marks, and some other small theory questions like difference between NPV and IRR. Like that, they may ask. Here also, everything is very simple. They have removed actually a lot of things from last 1.5 years. Because earlier, there were decision tree techniques, so many other techniques were also there, leasing and also there. But now they have removed all these things. So these are all statistical one. These are all you should know which is statistical one, which is non-statistical one, which is time-based. You should know the difference. And here also around 6 to 7 formulas are there. And there are 3 to 4 formats are there. If I know from each chapter which format, how I use, you will directly, your answer will go like that only. You will do the answer in that way where institute asked for you. That's what this chapter. This is also very easy. But this is also comprises of that one. And dividend decisions. Of course, in your book, the weightage is given for capital investments and dividend decisions together. But you can expect that marks. Dividend decisions, you can expect around 4 to 6 marks. Another key decision. Here also, you have got around 7 to 8 formulas. For all the techniques together, I'm telling, there are 7 to 8 formulas. And no bigger format is there. Normal way of doing it. Maybe you can add 1 or 2 formats. 1 or 2 formats. That's what the way of doing. Dividend, a very simple chapter. You can easily score 4 to 6 marks. So where I can score my marks, I should know very clearly. Then next and final chapter is management of your working capital. This is a huge chapter where you will find out a lot of things here where you can get around, I can say 18 to 24 marks on average, 18 marks, 18 to 24 marks. Or sometimes they may restrict to, if I conservatively, if I put, so you can say 15 to 18 marks also, very conservative, very conservative. Let us forget this one. Let us say 15 to 18 marks, because there may be compulsory question, computation of working capital. There is a compulsory question. Now they have in the new study material, they have given more details about factoring and forfeiting. Forfeiting is also with the more theory they have added. So forfeiting basically is with regard to international finance, exports and import bills. What factoring does, the same in a different way, the bills of letter of credit, what we do. So you should know this. You should read the theory aspect. Treasury management, cash budget will be there. Cash budget will be there. Then optimal cash balance, you have to find out. Inventory management, where your EOQ, your maximum level, minimum level, all these stuffs which you learned in your cost accounting, you should know this. You should know this. So that will also, so reading the subject, you will know that subject also. So both are linked now. FM and costing is now linked. Now management of receivables and management of payables, both creditors, your ratio analysis, most of the formulas will come. Debtors collection period, creditors payable period, raw material turnover period, cost of inventory turnover period, lot of turnover formulas will come here. Lot of formulas. Here we have around 15 formulas are there, and also around 10 formats are there, different formats. And with debtors management, you will be learning about something like what Marwadi talks, or something like that. Say 12% interest, 15% interest. Here we will talk about 2 by 10, 3 by 10 discounting. Say if you pay the bill within 10 days, you will get a discount of 2%. So 2 by 10. Like that we call. So these things has to be understood. Now, what is the cost of factoring? Whether the cost of factoring is best or whether the bank finance is best, you will be learning in all these things. And you will be learning in working capital finance in different conditions. Worst condition, best condition, normal condition, you should know. And RBI stipulated tandem committee, financing of working capital management. You will learn about that, MPBF methods. Here also you have to go through these 15 formulas and 10 formats. And also you should know that it fetches around 15 to 18 marks. Very important paper. So capital budgeting or investment decisions, and this chapter is very key, where it scores you, actually gets you around 30 marks. If you know these two topics thoroughly, from wherever you ask, if you know these two topics, you can get around, say, 25 to 30 marks. I guarantee that. Clear, students?
I hope many of your doubts are solved. However, we know that you have many more questions and need the guidance throughout till the examination. So don't worry, we have our faculties to help you with solving doubts, providing you with best content on lectures and notes. The faculties will handhold through this journey with content-rich webinars, doubt-solving sessions, and fast-track revision classes. You may check out our website and subscribe for the classes to gain access to all of these. On behalf of the LearnCap community, I thank Venkatakrishnan sir for conducting this wonderful session and helping the students with the tips and strategies to crack the financial management paper. I would also thank all the attendees for being such great audience and all the LearnCap team members for this initiative. We have regular webinars hosted on topics which bother students the most and needs expert guidance. Do check out our website for further details and regular updates. Stay tuned to more sessions and programs. Happy learning. Thank you.
Subscribe to LearnCap and hit the bell icon to get notified.